Good evening. My name is Emma Conti-Windle, and I would first like to congratulate you all, students and families, on the great honors we are celebrating tonight. As we acknowledge the students who, along with other accomplishments, have performed significantly well academically, I believe it is equally important to acknowledge those who have supported us on our unique paths to success. Throughout my academic career, I have been blessed with the support and care of a few notable faculty members here at Iroquois, and for their kindness, patience, and dedication to their work, I am eternally grateful. That said, it is my distinct honor to acknowledge a supporter of mine who has not only been there for me in my greatest moments, but has gone above and beyond to guide me in my moments of need, Mrs. Sarah Skelton. Those who know me well would agree that at times I can be a pretty anxious person. I've been this way since I was very young, and it sometimes plays a large role in my academic experiences. I remember being particularly nervous to meet Mrs. Skelton, afraid she wouldn't like me, that it was a fluke that I'd even started being a part of her gifted program. But from the moment that she met me in the 4th grade hallway for the first time and walked me to her classroom, her smile beaming as she introduced herself and shook my probably sweaty little 10-year-old hand, Mrs. Skelton has been a calming, encouraging, and fully believing presence in my life. For my years in the elementary school, attending her class to work on various service projects and joining her on field trips that opened my eyes to the world around me, to the big move to the junior-senior high school where new schedules and responsibilities awaited me, I learned 2 lessons from Mrs. Skelton. The first, one should always strive to be part of an effort or cause that is greater than himself. And secondly, one owes it to himself to seek the help he needs. The help is there. During my senior year, the help and guidance that I was receiving from Mrs. Skelton, along with seemingly everything else in my life, completely changed. Things became very real for me this school year, and some facts of life set in. This, as I'm sure my classmates will agree, can be painful and scary. Colleges to be researched, questions to be answered, futures to be planned made me anxious to say the least. Sitting down with Mrs. Skelton, looking at financial aid forms, trying to make sense of how complicated it seemed my life had become, I looked at her with tear-filled eyes, utterly perplexed. I went on a tangent of doubtful questions. What if I make the wrong decision? Why is everything so expensive? What if I fail at college? And once again, Mrs. Skelton reminded me of the much truer, much more worthy sentiments, instilling a sense of calm and confidence back in me. All of the hard work I've put into my education and my life is about to pay off. I've made it this far, and I deserve to be where I am. I can handle the challenges that come at me because I am strong. At an inevitable low point, if I can't handle something on my own, I have a group of the best people to support me. I am overcome with gratitude and certainty when I say that Mrs. Skelton is an honest, accepting, strong, talented, wildly smart, enormously caring, and of course, brave beacon of light for any person, student or adult whose life that she touches. She's an angel on earth, an amazing mother, and a significant factor in my and many of my peers' successes. But I want to clarify something. In reminding me that my doubts, anxieties, and bad times do not define my actual potential as a scholar or a person, Mrs. Skelton never invalidated the way that I was feeling. Instead, she simply listened. From this, I learned perhaps the most important lesson that Mrs. Skelton taught me, which is that it is completely normal and ordinary to experience self-doubt and anxiety. This is not something of which one should be ashamed. What is beautifully extraordinary is one's ability to persevere and believe in himself to overcome the feelings of self-doubt and push beyond anxieties and struggles. What is beautifully extraordinary is a human's ability to uplift another human out of concern and kindness. Mrs. Skelton is extraordinary. I will conclude with a call to action for you all. Be someone's Mrs. Skelton. And if you have a Mrs. Skelton, thank them. I'll start. Thank you, Mrs. Skelton. You are extraordinary. Thank you. Sorry about that. It is my pleasure to introduce Ethan Sonny as he honors Mr. Chuck Peruzia.